So relationships have issues that always is going to happen. I think there's a David Bowie song. What happens when you want something that someone else wants too? So there are ways to handle this, to handle conflicts and various issues with skill, with kindness, with diplomacy, with caring and respect. That's the ideal. And some of us will go to the ends of the earth to attempt to learn those skills and clear up our issues. But others of us may not have the ability to do that for whatever reason. And so when there is a difference in the skill level between two members of a relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's a professional relationship, a friendship, or even that momentary uh, traffic issue, uh, unless both people have some kind of skill, there is going to be a deficit, and that deficit will be made up with competition, force, or manipulation. Hi, I'm Fran Gallagher. I'm your guide to relationships, meditation, and intuition. This difference in skill level, I just wasn't able to face for a long time. I thought that my skills could bridge the gap. And what I discovered is that my skills were not able to bridge the gap for a number of reasons. One is that, again, the other person, if they don't have skill, or if I'm with somebody who is very skillful, more skillful than I'm going to resort to manipulation first, more likely, most likely. And this manipulation is really underhanded. We all know how to do it. We all were raised in relationships and families where the main relationship probably relied on manipulation. The second choice is competition. So the way that competition looks is whoever makes the most money. That might be one way that issues of conflict are resolved. Or whoever is the most justified for whatever reason. Maybe you are in a relationship with the governor of your state, and they feel more justified because they have the most responsibility. That might be fair. That might be what you've agreed to. Um, this competition can go on and on. Whoever is going to be more successful if they look outside a relationship for sexual gratification. In other words, whoever is more attractive. Uh, there's always the martyr plan where whoever has the most illness is the most deserving because they have illness or they have this problem or that. Uh, you will start to uncover all kinds of ways that competition will show up, especially if you're in a relationship where the other person has relied on competition all their life. You may not realize it. You may not even see it. And then when you see it, it's like, whoa, it will be everywhere. And then there's always force. There is just, I'm going to get my way no matter what. And the person will act out and get their way again, no matter what. So it is imperative that you notice your skill level and you begin to be aware of your partner's skill level. And if there is any possibility of you increasing your level of skill and your partner perhaps increasing their level of skill. Now, if you are in a relationship where the person you're in a relationship with is absolutely not interested in developing relationship skills, They don't want to read any books. They don't want to go to a therapist or counselor. They simply are not interested. You are going to have quite an issue on your hands, because no matter how skillful you are, no matter how kind and loving, no matter how straightforward you attempt to be, the other person is not going to be able to meet you in your efforts. They may not be able to hear you. They might, especially if they use competition or force, they may just shut the conversation down when you bring anything up that would possibly be a conflict. And over time, you will discover that you are not being heard. And then we'll see what you do. Do you resort to manipulation? Do you resort to competition? Or do you resort to force? And I'm not talking about physical force, and I'm not endorsing uh, manipulation, competition, or physical, or any kind of personality force, the force of sheer conviction or sheer stubbornness. And then that's another interesting one, because if someone is very, very stubborn, they're actually asking their partner to use manipulation to get around their stubbornness. That will be part of the unspoken agreements in the relationship. In other words, I will be stubborn and you will need to be manipulative. And boy, I can hear manipulation. I don't know if you've had this experience, but I know people who are just really quite manipulative in their everyday lives. And I will hear their voice change, their tone change, and I will know that they are being manipulative. I had childhood experiences of being with people who were just, that was their main relationship skill, was manipulation. And I'm not endorsing it as a skill, believe me. I don't think it is skillful. It's just that it is one way to get things done. So being able to look at this, you are going to be able to evaluate your relationship. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you will end your misery in the relationship, and maybe even your partner's. So I know for me is that I have to really face this and see in my relationships, all kinds of relationships, where there is skill, and where that lack of skill, that deficit, is being made up with one of these other rather unskilled ways of handling things. So, thank you for joining me. I want you to remember that the spiritual path is an unfolding path. It has its own intelligence. You got this. You're on your way. Bye for now.